Work that and work that. Comparison is the thief of joy.
Straight up.
Because you're
Straight
not
up.
present if you're comparing yourself, and it's robbing you of that present moment of joy. Wow, that's beautiful. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, when I heard that, I was like, yeah, that's that because we all get caught up, especially in the entertainment
Yeah.
business. You looking at what your peers are doing, and he booked that, and she booked this, and why this not happening to me yet? If it,
Yeah.
and you get in your head, and you got to be like you say, you just got to enjoy the ride, be thankful for the blessings where you're at. Everybody had their
Mhm.
seasons because, I mean, man, you'll look at a TV show and you will see somebody that was popping in the 80s or 90s. You can't find these niggas now. you know,
Careful, careful, careful.
you still popping, Wendy, but you still popping.
But no, but but that's real talk. And now social media wasn't around when I was coming up like you are,
hmm
so I cannot imagine being, let's cut back to 30 years ago and where I was and just trying to navigate through this thing. But now you got social media that's pretty much, calculating every step or feeling like I have to take breaks from social media because it really gets toxic and it gets me in my head of, everybody's posting their most fabulous life. And it's like, oh God, what am I doing? And I was like, no, my worth isn't predicated on what everybody else is doing. I am who I am. And I, like you said, wow, comparison is the thief of joy.
Straight up.
So I'm very careful in who I follow, what I follow, and how often I follow it.
No, straight up, as you should be. So I want to touch on these things before I let you go.
Oh Lord, because I was like, is this a marathon podcast? What is
nah,
happening? No, I'm kidding.
nah,
I'm kidding. I'm
the,
having
the conversation been so good. Um, I want to talk about how did you meet Steve Harvey because I saw you actually did his other show, Me and the Boys, prior to the Steve Harvey show. I do my research.
Oh, all right. Like I said, I was pilot queen. I did the pilot for Me and the Boys, and it was his first show. And speaking of which, the full circleness of everything, I went back to Kim Fields. Her mom is Chip Fields, who is one of my first acting instructors, but she was also one of the acting coaches on set with Steve. So just throwing that out there.
Wow.
Amazing, amazing woman. But I booked the job, and it kind of helped that I knew Chip because Steve was so. Woo, you think he country now? He was, Lord, he was beachy country, and they wanted to surround him with familiarity, even though he didn't really know me. But Chip knew my energy and my spirit, so I was able to play off of him, and it was just a guest spot. Then cut to, that's why it's all about relationships. That was a little ABC show that he did, and it ran for a while. But when it was time for the Steve Harvey show, and this is another testimony, I didn't do the pilot for that. So on the pilot, the principal was this Jewish white man. And it's so funny because I did a series with him. Have your friend Google Minor Adjustments. That was like my first real series on NBC. And
Lee,
on that
Google
show,
minor adjustments.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it right. I think you're gonna get me fired. You know what? We gonna need. Listen.
He's sitting somewhere with his hand in his pants. All right. Oh.
face, and he was so funny. Mitch something. But he was a regular on Minor Adjustments with me, and we had this whole little banter and things like that. Anyway, he ended up being the principal on the Steve Harvey show on the pilot. They pick up the pilot. Network was like, wow, the WB network, which doesn't even exist anymore. They were like, well, we want to spice it up and, maybe add a female, this, that, and the other. So I had to jump through the hoops. And I ended up booking the principal that was transformed from, this old Jewish man to, Regina Greer. I said,
Wow.
is that crazy? And then
Wow.
it ended up being like, I mean, man, you talk about fun. And that was at the time when he and said they were kings of comedy. So, you know, it's like every day you got to sit down and watch a full-length concert. Like, y'all, come on, we got to run it. You know, and me and Terry was like, I need to run lines. I find these moments. They were like, oh, relax. Anyway, so I'm sitting up there and it was like, I was like, oh my God. But it was the best time and the greatest time. And the biggest thing that I learned too, because Steve was, you know, they were balling out of control. He took us all, you know, the students, the kids that played the students, myself included, brought in all his investors, sat down, helped us, okay, this is what you do with your money. This is what you don't do. Yes, this is like 96, 97. So
that's amazing he did that.
I'm forever grateful for that. Forever. So I try and pay that forward as much as possible, you know, because people don't know. You know, and then you got taxes, you got this, you got that, you know, no, take that chunk, do this, do that. And actually a lot of the people, the Merrill Lynch people I'm still working with today. So
Wow.
It's been.
I just told my niece last night, I was talking to her, she's 13. And I said, if I give you $10,000, you go buy a candy store or candy. And she said, well, I'll buy candy. And I said, well, no. I said, I think you want to buy the candy store. I said, you could sell the candy that's at the candy store. She said, well, I could buy candy and sell it. Why do I need to have the store? I say, that's smart of you. I say, the reason you need to have the store because you could then in the future sell the store and increase your investment. So I said, not only did you make money from selling the candy, but now you've sold the building and you've also made a profit from that as well. And then she was like, oh, okay. You know, she was trying to fight me at first because she's 13, you know, but she said something like, I just go to Amazon. I said, but don't you realize Amazon is the candy store?
Exactly. That's the Willy Wonka.
That's the Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka.
Right. You want to be Willy Wonka. And then the game. So how did your role, I know you talked about it briefly earlier, but how did the series, the game come about? How did that kind of spin into, you know, the game from your role on Girlfriends to becoming the game?
I never did Girlfriends.
Oh, so you never did do Girlfriends?
I auditioned forever and never.
I thought you did a guest role on there and then that kind of,
I wish. Actually, Tia, the way that they introduced it, it was an episode of Girlfriends where Tia's character, Melanie, was established as Tracy Ellis Ross's cousin.
Oh, okay.
So it was a whole backstory. And I mean, you talk about a cast that flipped. Aldous Hodge was the original Derwin.
Crazy. He's killing it right now.
He's one of my AGC babies. I've known him since he was 10. And he's blown up like amazing. But he was the original Derwin in that. And it was like 3 different melodies. It was that whole casting process for the game. And even when that's why I said it's never final till it's final. You know, everybody's like, ooh, congratulate. I don't post nothing or tell anybody. I keep it between Jesus and my mama when I book. Because you never know. I mean, I've seen people gone after table reads. I've seen them gone after the first, you know, producers run through. So, and that's what happened on the game. Even Kelly Pitt's character, it was a whole other Kelly Pitts that they had, and she was Canadian, and she was very the Stepford wife. It wasn't that she wasn't funny. It was just a very different fit.
Right.
You know, like she was the perfect 1954 wife in her comedy. And then boom, they bring in Brittany Daniel. Kelsey Grammer did one.